let me tell you a story about a place that exists between waking and sleeping, between memory and imagination. It's a story about a girl named Luna, a mysterious garden, and the dreams that people leave behind. The discovery. Luna lived in a small cottage at the edge of a great forest with her grandmother, who was a weaver of dreams. Now, you might wonder what a dream weaver does, and that's perfectly reasonable, for they are quite rare. Each night, Luna's grandmother would sit at her ancient loom, her fingers moving gently across silver threads that shimmered like moonlight. She would weave the dreams that people would have that night. Pleasant dreams of flying over meadows, dreams of reunions with old friends, dreams of discovering hidden gardens filled with flowers that sang. But lately, grandmother had grown tired. Her fingers moved more slowly across the loom, and sometimes she would pause and sigh, looking out the window at the darkening forest. "What troubles you, grandmother?" Luna asked one evening, as golden light faded from the sky. "My dear child," grandmother replied softly, "I am growing old, and soon I will need to pass the loom to another. But before I do, there is something I must tell you about. Deep in the forest, there exists a garden that few have seen, the garden of forgotten dreams." Luna leaned closer, listening carefully as her grandmother continued. "When people forget their dreams upon waking, those dreams don't simply disappear. They drift like dandelion seeds on the wind until they find their way to this garden, where they take root and grow. The garden tends itself, but it grows lonely, for it remembers all the dreams that people have abandoned. Can I visit this garden?" Luna asked, her heart stirring with curiosity. Grandmother smiled gently. "The path appears only to those who truly wish to find it, and only when the moon is full. Tomorrow night, the moon will be round and bright. If you wish to go, follow the silver moths that will gather at our door. They know the way." That night, Luna could barely sleep, her mind full of wonder about a garden where forgotten dreams grew like flowers. The path of silver moths. The next evening, as the full moon rose above the treetops, casting everything in soft silver light, Luna stood by her cottage door and waited. The forest seemed to hold its breath. Even the usual chirping of crickets had quieted to a gentle hum. Then, just as grandmother had promised, they came. Silver moths, dozens of them, their wings catching moonlight like tiny mirrors. They gathered in the air before Luna, forming a shimmering cloud that slowly began to drift toward the forest path. Luna took a deep breath, pulled her soft wool cloak around her shoulders, and followed. The moths led her along a winding path she'd never noticed before, though she'd walked these woods countless times. The trees here were older, their trunks wider, their branches reaching overhead to form a canopy that filtered moonlight into patterns of lace and shadow on the forest floor. As she walked, Luna began to notice curious things. There were flowers growing alongside the path that she'd never seen before, night-blooming blossoms that glowed faintly blue, their petals translucent as silk. When the breeze stirred them, they made a sound like distant music, like a lullaby half remembered from childhood. The moths floated ahead of her, patient and unhurried, occasionally circling back as if to make sure she was still following. The deeper into the forest she went, the more the air seemed to change. It grew softer somehow, warmer, scented with vanilla and rain and something else. Some like the smell of old books or the attic where grandmother kept her most precious things. Time felt different here. Luna couldn't tell if she'd been walking for minutes or hours. The moon moved across the sky, but it seemed to move slowly, as if it too wanted to watch what would happen next. Finally, the moths stopped before an arch of twisted vines covered in white flowers that opened like stars. Through the arch, Luna could see a soft, golden light, gentle and inviting as candlelight. The moths parted, creating a path for her to walk through. Luna stepped forward, passed beneath the flowering arch, and entered the garden of forgotten dreams. The garden awakens. The garden stretched before her, vast and beautiful in ways that made her heart ache with joy. It was larger than seemed possible, rolling away in gentle hills and valleys, with paths winding between beds of the most extraordinary flowers Luna had ever seen. But these weren't ordinary flowers. Each one was a dream that someone had forgotten. There were flowers that looked like little houses with windows glowing warm and yellow, dreams of home and safety. There were flowers shaped like musical notes that hummed gentle melodies, dreams of songs someone had almost written but lost upon waking. There were flowers that shifted colors like oil on water, dreams of transformation, of becoming something new and wonderful. In the center of the garden stood an ancient willow tree with silver leaves that whispered in a breeze Luna couldn't feel. Beneath the tree sat a figure, neither young nor old, neither clearly male nor female, dressed in robes that seemed woven from twilight itself. The figure smiled at Luna's approach. "Welcome, child of the Dream Weaver. We've been waiting for you." "Who are you?" Luna asked softly, not frightened but full of gentle curiosity. "I am the keeper of this garden," the figure replied, their voice like wind through grass, soothing and constant. "I tend the dreams that people leave behind, making sure they're cared for, that they don't wither and fade entirely. Some dreams wait here for years, hoping their dreamers will remember them. Others grow content in this place and choose to stay, becoming part of the garden itself." Luna looked around at the countless dream flowers swaying in that invisible breeze. "There are so many," she whispered. "Do people really forget this many dreams?" The keeper nodded, a touch of sadness in their smile. "Every morning, people wake, and the dreams slip away like water through their fingers. They remember fragments sometimes, a feeling, a color, a face, but the full dream escapes them. Those dreams find their way here." "That seems so sad," Luna said, kneeling beside a small blue flower that looked like a tiny door. She could almost see images flickering in its petals. A child running through a meadow, laughing free. "It is both sad and beautiful," the keeper replied. Sad that the dreams are forgotten, but beautiful that they have this place to come to, where they can live on in their own way. Would you like to help me tend them for a while? Luna nodded, and the keeper handed her a watering can made of what looked like crystallized starlight. Tending the dreams. As Luna watered the dream flowers with water that sparkled silver in the moonlight, the keeper told her stories about the dreams in the garden. This one here, the keeper said, gesturing to a tall flower with petals like pages of a book, belonged to a writer who dreamed an entire story one night, beautiful and complete. But when she woke, she remembered only that it had been wonderful, not what it was about. The story dream has lived here for 30 years now, still hoping she might remember. Luna touched the flower gently, and for a moment, she could hear words, see scenes. A tale of a sailor who collected stars in bottles, sailing between worlds. It was indeed beautiful. And this grove of small white flowers? Luna asked, pointing to a section where hundreds of tiny blooms clustered together. Ah, those are children's dreams, the keeper said warmly. Dreams of flying, of talking to animals, of discovering magical kingdoms under their beds or at the bottom of the garden. Children forget dreams quickly, but they dream so vividly, so purely. These are some of the garden's most precious inhabitants. As Luna moved through the garden, watering and tending, she noticed that some dreams seemed to glow brighter under her care, while others remained dim and faded. Why do some dreams shine more brightly? She asked. The keeper settled on a stone bench beneath the willow tree, patting the space beside them for Luna to sit. The dreams that glow brightest are the ones that still have a thread connecting them to their dreamer. Somewhere deep in that person's mind, a tiny spark of memory remains. They might not consciously remember the dream, but some part of them does. Those dreams hope to be remembered fully someday. Can dreams ever return to their dreamers? Luna asked, watching a flower that pulsed with soft golden light. Sometimes, the keeper said, very rarely, a person will suddenly remember an old dream, perhaps triggered by a smell or a song or a particular slant of afternoon light. When that happens, the dream flower here fades and disappears, having returned home at last. It's always a joy when that happens, though it makes the garden a little emptier. They sat in comfortable silence for a while, listening to the dream flowers whisper and sing their quiet songs. Willow's wisdom. Would you like to know a secret? The keeper asked, looking up at the silver willow tree above them. Luna nodded, her eyes growing heavy with pleasant tiredness, but her mind still engaged and curious. This tree, the keeper continued, is the oldest dream in the garden. It was the very first forgotten dream, from the very first dreamer thousands of years ago. No one knows what the dream was about. It's been here so long that it's transformed into something beyond a single dream. It's become the heart of the garden itself. The willow's branches swayed, and Luna could have sworn she heard it sigh contentedly. "The tree has a gift," the keeper whispered. "If you lean against its trunk and close your eyes, it will show you one of your own forgotten dreams. One you've lost but that still exists somewhere in the garden." Luna felt a shiver of excitement and wonder. She stood and approached the ancient tree, placing her palm against its silver bark. The bark was warm, alive with gentle energy. She sat down at its base, leaning her back against the trunk, and closed her eyes. At first, there was only darkness and the sound of her own breathing. Then, slowly, images began to form. She saw herself much younger, perhaps 4 or 5 years old, in a dream she'd completely forgotten. In the dream, she was sitting in a boat made of flower petals, floating down a river of starlight. Her grandmother was there too, younger than Luna had ever known her, laughing and pointing out constellations that swam in the river like fish. They were sailing toward a castle made of moonbeams, where a great celebration was happening. All the dreams in the world dancing together, happy and free. The memory dream was so beautiful that Luna felt tears slip down her cheeks, though they were happy tears, tears of recognition and joy. When she opened her eyes, the keeper was smiling at her. "You remembered," they said simply. Luna nodded, unable to speak for a moment, her heart too full. The gift. As the night deepened and the moon began its descent toward the horizon, the keeper walked Luna back toward the garden's entrance. "You may visit whenever you wish," the keeper said. "The silver moths will always guide you when the moon is full. And if you choose, when you're ready, you could become a keeper yourself. The garden could use another tender dreams." "I would like that very much," Luna said. "But what about my grandmother and her loom?" "Ah," the keeper smiled knowingly. "Dream weaving and dream keeping are not so different. Your grandmother weaves new dreams. We tend the old ones. Both are necessary. Both are beautiful. You could do both in time." Before Luna left, the keeper handed her a small pouch made of soft fabric that shimmered like moth wings. "Inside are seeds from the dream flowers. Plant them in your own garden at home. They won't grow into forgotten dreams there, but they will grow into something special. Flowers that help people remember their dreams upon waking. It's a small magic, but a useful one." Luna accepted the gift gratefully, tucking it safely into her cloak pocket. As she passed back through the flowering arch, the silver moths gathered around her once more, guiding her back through the forest. The path seemed shorter now, or perhaps Luna was walking in a pleasant daze, her mind full of wonder and peace. Closing. When Luna arrived home, dawn was just beginning to paint the eastern sky in shades of rose and gold. Her grandmother was awake, sitting at her loom, but not weaving. She was waiting. "You found it," grandmother said, and it wasn't a question. Luna nodded and told her grandmother everything about the garden, the keeper, the dream flowers, the ancient willow tree, and the memory of their shared dream from so long ago. Grandmother's eyes grew misty. "I have forgotten that dream," she whispered. "The boat of flower petals, the starlight river. But now I remember. Thank you for bringing it back to me, dear child." Luna showed her the pouch of seeds, and together they planned where to plant them, in the garden outside the cottage, where they could tend them together. That night, Luna slept deeply and peacefully, and when she dreamed, she remembered every moment upon waking. She dreamed of the garden, of course, but also of all the dreams yet to come, dreams she would tend, dreams she would weave, dreams she would help others remember. And in the forest, in the garden of forgotten dreams, the keeper smiled and the ancient willows swayed, and all the dream flowers sang a little more brightly, knowing that they've been visited, remembered, and loved. The end, and the beginning of sweet dreams. Sleep well.